Well, hopefully we have a microphone because dumbass me forgot to do a microphone test. I can't remember how this one adjusts. I think we're okay. I think we have a mic. I'm hearing it here. I had to switch out. The other one, I don't know. I had everything hooked up. I did the pre-test, and it was just humming and buzzing and humming. I don't know. Sounds good. Okay. Wonderful. Then let's get started. Broadcasting from 30-degree downtown Cleveland, it's station WDWL TV, home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I am your host, the grumpy old man. And our show is brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No ball, thank you. See you, bye. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now, there is a difference. Because I learned this back when I bought my first house. There is a difference between being pre-qualified and pre-approved. And I believe the main one is pre-approved. You may be pre-qualified, but are you pre-approved? Because when you are pre-approved, that's as good as gold. There are many people that can be pre-qualified and not get an approval for a loan. So check with your broker or whoever you're dealing with and say, am I pre-approved? That's the biggie. Because that means you're good to go. It's nice that you're pre-qualified, but pre-approved is basically the selling point. Because when, of course, back in the day, I'll tell you how housing prices are. My house, my first house in 1970 was $11,000, which was big money back then. And I had been pre-qualified for 12. And then the bank came back and said, you're pre-qualified or you're pre-approved for 11. And boy, I was sweating it. Yeah. You have to be qualified for a certain amount, right? No, a real estate agent is going to show you, a $300,000 house if you're pre-qualified for 110. The whole thing is, are you pre-approved for 300K? Not trying to pour any water on your fire, Ron, but there is a difference. And I remember the real estate agent telling me, you need a pre-approval for this money. Now, luckily, the approval came through. I bought the house. It's hard to believe. I bought that house for $11,000, and houses in this neighborhood are going for $140,000. I would have never thought that house would be worth, $150,000. Salute. Guess where I've been? You can tell by the crappy adhesive tape. I even said to the flat bottom ass today, I said, how come hospitals use that goddamn cheap ass tape? Now, it's amazing it's still sticking, because 90% of the time, by the time I get out the door in the car, it's falling off. Yeah, old Grumpy had to go up to the express care. Had to delay the axle repair on the Passat until tomorrow. It was not a fun morning, believe me. Nothing like going in and taking a leak and it being red water. I was like, oh fuck. So I said, let me have a cup of coffee and see what happens the next time. Well, the next time wasn't too much better. So, up to the old express care. I go in and she laid out the Crayola crayons of test tubes. Boy, she drained so much. I told her, I said, I think I'm getting a little lightheaded. She goes, really? I said, no. Told me, cut that shit out. God, it was vial after vial after vial after vial after vial. I said, gee, the last time it was like the box of 12 Crayola crayons. I said, you got the box of 64 here. Every color in the rainbow. Then, the fun part. They give you the cup. So I do the cup. and put it behind the magic revolving door. So I come out of the bathroom and she goes, "Here." She hands me 4 16-ounce bottles of water and said, "Go out in the waiting room and drink these and let me know when you have to go again." Yeah, got to be the point. She was filling so many test tubes. I said, "Are you filling them for the next 2 guys out in the lobby or what?" "Doctor's orders." I said, I didn't see that." She goes, "Yeah, that's on my end, not your end." I don't know. I don't understand why there's so goddamn many test tubes full of blood. I really, what is every department in the hospital get one? "Here, this is from Grumpy." What am I going to do with this shit? Then after I finished the 4th 16-ounce bottle of water, I kind of got the urge. So I told the girl at the reception desk, "Tell her I'm ready." She calls me back, hands me another cup. "Here you go." In the revolving door. Matter of fact, I yelled out the door. I said, "I got some left. Anybody need some?" "No? Okay." So hopefully I will get results in the morning and find out what the hell is going on. I had to go up and get more fucking crinkleberry juice. I'm turning it into a cranberry. Because, well, besides all the, I know she had to take a little extra blood for that. I don't know if it's the blood for the PSA test or if it's the cup. Maybe that's why she took 2. I don't know. All I know is like 157 vials of blood and two nice big cups of stuff that looks like beer, but isn't. Got to get to the bottom. I've been fighting this goddamn fucking infection for 2.5 weeks now. All I know is tomorrow when I open my chart, there better be results there. And it better not be bad news. Because all of this bullshit that's going on right now is delaying Dr. Whack from chopping off my toe. Because I can't go through any of those test results because you got to be, 100% healthy. Or 98.9. because I will have to reschedule the appointment with Dr. Whack. And right now he's probably sharpening his garden shears. Stick that toe out. Snap. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, all of that's on hold. And it's getting to the point where I'm lucky if I can walk 20 feet without shooting pain. I never thought I would actually come to the point and say, please cut my toe off. That's scary. I mean, it's a toe. I feel sorry for, my poor deceased buddy when they whacked off both legs. And I really felt sorry for him because he had just gotten really proficient with walking with the first prosthetic leg. And then they told him, we're sharpening the chainsaw again. And I'll tell you what. That is, he had two of the ugliest looking stitched up stumps that I ever saw. Not that I've seen a lot of stitched up stumps, but he'd be sitting in the kitchen chair, pair of shorts on. I'd glance over and I'd be like, oh, Jesus. They call it the fish flap closure. Where they ever came up with a name like that? Because I asked them one day, I said, couldn't they have done that like straight across, nice and neat? Nope, they call it the fish flap. All I knew was them stumps looked hideous. But he was doing pretty good on two prosthetics. And then he had a goddamn stroke. And they got him in time. And then he had another one in the hospital. They gave him that magic, whatever it is, TPA, T3P, whatever the hell that magic shot is. He came out all right. The day before he was to be discharged, he had a biggie. Although, I'll tell you, that, whatever that magic shot is, he came out of that, and I would say he probably had 98% of his faculties. Because he was still working on repairing computers from home. But then he had them 3 strokes, and because I talked to him the morning when the nurse came in and said, "You're being discharged tomorrow. I have the doctor's paperwork." And that morning, He had the biggie. Yeah, they call it a fish flap closure. I haven't the slightest idea. I guess one day I'll have to gargle it. But that's what they call them. Fish flap. You would think they would come up with a better medical term. I can see in the operating room the doctor going, okay, time for the fish flap. Nurse walks in with a carp. Get that out of here. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you something, Kathy. You know, working in the hospital, they drummed it into your head. And I can't remember, there's a certain word. And each letter stands for a certain thing to look for when you're having a stroke. And him and I, he had a service call. And we went down to this county office. And he was acting a little goofy. But you had to know him. Sometime he'd pull this shit. Well, he walked up on the porch, and there was a gas meter sticking out of the building. And he ran right into it and fell over. And, we picked him up, and he was acting a little goofier. And he went in, and he actually repaired the computer. I don't know what was wrong with it. We went back, we closed up the shop. He drove home. And as soon as he got in the door, his wife noticed there was something wrong and called an ambulance right away. And all that time that he was with me, he was having a stroke. And luckily, it wasn't that far to the hospital. And he was within that certain time. And he come out of the stroke, I'll say 99%. And the more I thought about it after his wife called me, he had all the signs. And I never paid attention because that was the farthest thing from my mind. It's cost effective. I guess I'm going to have to be gargling that in the morning after I go to my chart and see what the test results are. Hold on. I think I just heard. I think I heard the milk chute slam. Pardon me a minute. I'm waiting for something. It's here. I'll keep in suspense for a few minutes while I suck down some more crinkleberry juice. My second book, The Art of Overlit Lighting. How to illuminate your life and blind your neighbors. There it is. It says, already sold over 5 million copies worldwide. A brilliantly overexposed read, Grumpy Old Man teaches us how to turn every room into a spectacle of blinding brilliance. Neighbors beware. If you thought having enough lights was enough, think again. This book redefines too bright in the most delightful way. Grumpy Old Man's humor shines as brightly as his obsession, a must-read for those who believe the only good light is all the light. Perfect for anyone who wants their life as brilliantly confused as their wiring, illuminating and hilariously over the top. My second book. I can't wait to read this one. Oh boy. I'll tell you what, I gave some crazy ass off the wall answers on this one. Yeah, that one should be interesting because I just threw some crazy shit when I answered some of the questions. Oh, good. You're going to get one. Get one. It takes about a week and a half. It's amazing. Let me see how many pages this one is. How they come up with all this shit, I'll tell you. How many pages? 235 pages. I like the last paragraph. In closing, remember this. Illumination isn't just about seeing clearly. It's about being seen clearly. It's about refusing to fade into the shadows of mediocrity. Go forth, dear reader, and light up the world with all the intensity of 2,000 disco balls. The glare guru has spoken, and now it's your turn to shine. Illuminate or else. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Oh my God. Some of the chapter titles: Fireflies are flashing warning signs. Butterfly effect. Chaos in the garden. Oh man. Installing dimmers for the pretentious. Dimmers versus emergency LEDs. The ultimate showdown. Oh my God. Oh man. I'm going to order. I'm writing the third one. I've got a shitload of ideas written down. I'm going to do a third one. Unbelievable how they could come up. Oh, like I say, I'm going to put book one aside, and I'm going to read excerpts from book two because some of the wacky shit that I answered to those questions. The AI computers were going over the smoke, and they were like, "Holy shit! How are we going to write this?" They probably came from Timu because I was going to order a set, but they didn't have them in green. They had every goddamn color but green. Green was sold out. They look cool. As a matter of fact, they have, and I wish the Passat had those kind of lights. It figures, in 2005 they went to the headlight with the projector beam in it. That's like that eyeball light. They have projector beam eyeball lights. that move. You turn them on and they look one way, they look the other way, they look up, they look down while you're driving. There's two eyes in the front of your car. But I can't put them in the Passat. It's a different style headlight. Yeah, it figures. They probably got the last set of green ones. I will find them on Temu, and I will send you the link. Yeah, it's amazing what the shit that they've got. But when I went to order the ones for the back window, they didn't have green. And, all the lights are green. I didn't want, ice blue or purple or red. The red ones look bloodshot. But, yeah, you can get them on Temu. And anybody that's got projector beam headlights, you can get, those are cool. Because they look around while you're driving. There's two eyeballs in the projector beam, and they look around. That would drive somebody crazy, looking in their rearview mirror and seeing eyeballs looking at them. But those ones for the window, I wanted a set, and they were out of green. Although with Temu, you can actually click on the sold out color, and then you put your email in, and when they're back in stock, they will notify you. I'm half tempted. They're like $225. They make an aftermarket headlight for the Passat that has projector beams in it. I'm half tempted, as much as I don't want to spend the money, to order the aftermarket headlights and then order a set of those eyeballs in green and put them in the projector beams. Although we don't want to draw too much attention to us until we actually legally own the vehicle. But I think it would be neat driving down the street at night and having a couple of eyeballs. People coming the other way be like, what the hell was that? And the goddamn car had eyes in it. I hope they get those, the ones for the window in stock soon. Because I'll order two sets. One for the front window, one for the back window. It's amazing the shit that they have nowadays. Back in our day, we got them trailer lights, and you put them underneath the dash, and you call them sex lights. And we thought that was so cool. Oh, look at this. We got lights under the dash. Now you can order more goddamn mood lighting and all kinds of shit. There's a kit. It's on Temu. And it's thin fiber optic. And you can literally mount this stuff like, in your door panels or down your console. and have mood lighting in your car. I mean, I could go crazy with some of that stuff. I really could. There is on Temu, it's an LED strip that mounts right under the front edge of your hood lip. And when you turn it on, it zigzags back and forth. And then you can have it set for a certain color, or as you're driving, it turns colors: red, green, blue, pink, like a daytime running light. I am very tempted to order that for the Passat. I think it would be neat. Start the car up and have that green zip zap back and forth like the Knight Rider car, But like I say, we want to legally own that car before we draw attention to ourselves. I'll never forget the first time I saw. It was my buddy's brother's car. And he turned the headlights on, and he had blue lights under the dash. And I was like, what are those? And he goes, well, take a look. And they were those bullet trailer lamps. I'll tell you what, I looked all over. Finally, I lucked out. Western Auto had them in stock. So I bought I bought 6. And what color were amber? And what I did was I mounted one in each fender well, and then I had 2 under the dash. And when I turned the headlights on at night, the fender wells were amber. All 4 fender wells were amber. And then I had the 2 under the dash. And everybody was like, holy shit, look at Grumpy's car. Well, then, after a while, they came out with the neon underbody lights, and they went crazy. Because I was telling you, that kid up the street that's got the Jeep pickup. What is it, the Comanche or whatever? And he's got the mean green headlights. And, they look mean. You're getting the stink eye out of his headlights. Then he's got green fog lights. And then he's got the green LED fog. But he's got the ones in the bumper, like the factory. And then he's got mounted on the front fender the small square green ones like I have. And then he has an underbody kit. And at night, the Jeep looks like it's floating when it goes down the street. Oh, he's got that thing laid out. But when he turns the headlights on, the front of that Jeep looks pissed off. And he's a green freak like me. But God, you can get all kinds of shit for inside the car, for mood lighting. I'm trying to think. Was it Ford? I can't remember. I think it was Ford in one of their SUVs. They had mood lighting. And they basically copied it off the aftermarket, You see more and more stuff offered on cars because they don't want you spending money with the aftermarket companies. Like years ago, the first thing you did was rip your stereo out and you went to an aftermarket place and they put in a big thumper. Well, like my buddy's Lincoln, it's got 34 speakers inside. They don't want you going to, they're literally putting the aftermarket places out of business. Yeah, he's got 34 speakers and 4 of them are under seat woofers. When he cranks a stereo out, it vibrates the hemorrhoids right off my ass. But that was stuff that the aftermarket companies were doing back in the day. Now, there are aftermarket infotainment systems that are actually better than the factory. But if you notice, there are fewer and fewer aftermarket audio shops. At one time in Cleveland, Christ, there was one almost on every corner. Now I think we got 4. And 3 of them are on the east side. But it's irritating to be in traffic next to some idiot and the trunk is thumping so loud that the sheet metal's about ready to fall off the car. I mean, I like playing my stereo, I'll say concert pitch. But I would never think of putting them goddamn boom boxes like they have in the trunk with speakers that are about 18 inches around. Although, dummy me. I can't believe how stupid I am. Where did I put it? That's not it. Okay, where did I put it? I lost my CDs already. Where the hell did I put them? Oh, here we go. I got these, right? Said that I couldn't wait to listen to them, right? What do I have in the goddamn Passat? A CD player. You think I would think of that? No. I forgot I had a CD player in the trunk. So I guess tomorrow I will be putting these in the CD player. I was all set to get my little CD player, my portable, with headphones. I'm like, hey, I can play these in the car. You know, that's like back in the day. There were automotive upholstery and convertible top shops. There is not one to be found anymore. The major problem is, what do people do that have convertibles that need a top repair? There were two. I would say one was 10 minutes from here and one was 15 minutes from here. The one that was 10 minutes was Rayco. Auto tops and interiors. They did away with the convertibles and the shops lost business. But I still see a lot of convertibles driving around. Matter of fact, there's up the street from me is a Chrysler 200 convertible. And of course, the Corvette's a convertible. What happens if I need a top? Duct tape? Although I'll tell you, 2 years ago, a guy in front of me literally scared me to the point I almost shit myself. I'm driving behind him, and we're doing about 25, 30 miles an hour. And all of a sudden, the frickin' roof comes up on the car. I thought it was coming off the car and it was going to hit the windshield. Well, it's one of them Mercedes hardtop convertibles. Well, he decides in traffic he's going to put the top down. And this, I don't know, one piece of sheet metal flipped up and then the roof went up and folded down and I thought the roof was coming off the car. I slammed on the brakes. I'm surprised the guy behind me didn't ass-end me. I really wanted to give him a piece of my mind, but drive along in front of me, decides he's going to put the top down. Trunk flies up, roof. Because, they tell you that you can be going, 25, 30 miles an hour and you can put the top down, which he did. But, the light turns green, we take off. I'm probably 4 feet behind him. All of a sudden, the deck lid flops up, and then I see the roof come up. Holy shit, the goddamn car's coming apart. Then it folded all down. Man, I wanted to give him a piece of my mind, and I was like, you never know nowadays. But you mean to tell me while we were sitting at the red light, he couldn't do that? No. He's got to do it while we're moving. I literally thought the car was coming apart. Because, as the trunk came up, or whatever, you know, the wind caught it and it went up quick. And I literally thought it was coming off the car. I was like, you asshole, we were sitting waiting for the light to change. You couldn't push that button? No. Oh, I totally agree. If you're going to put the goddamn top down, be at a dead stop and be in a parking lot or something. Pull off the road or pull to the side of the road. Don't do it while you're driving. Like you say, I'm surprised the guy behind me didn't ass-end me. I hit the brakes. I thought the trunk was coming off the car. Dumbass. Boy, I'm surprised this tape is. Like I say, usually the shit falls off before you get in the car. I suppose I could take it off. My badge of honor for having 3 gallons of blood drained and a 5-gallon bucket of piss. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I put the cup in the magic door. I go to walk out. She goes, "Come here." I forget something. She says, "Here, go out in the waiting room and drink these." I said, "What?" "We need a second sample." I said, "Why didn't you give me 2 cups?" "It don't work that way." So I drank all 4 and sat there. Oh. Walk up the reception desk. Tell the flat bottom ass I'm ready to fill the second cup. Okay, go sit down. I shouldn't have stood up. I'm sitting there with my knees crossed, my toes crossed, my arms crossed, my eyes crossed. "Mr. Grumpy, here's your cup." Fill the cup. Yelled out the door. "Do you need any more? I got extra." "No." "Okay, just checking." And I put the second cup in the magic door. Spun it around. So I hope they figure out what the hell's going on. And it better not be bad news either. That's the only thing making me nervous. That fucking PSA test. For prostate. We'll see in the morning. Or whenever the frickin' results are there. As I went to the store, because tomorrow the Passat gets the axle bolts done. Usually they get it in pretty quick. I remember the last time. Christ, I no sooner sat down and got comfortable, the phone rang. I'm on the way to pick you up. Car's done. Ah, damn. Although it depends on how busy they are. Shouldn't take them long to put 6 bolts in. Because I told them, use about 5 gallons of Loctite. Weld them goddamn things on if you have to. I don't need to be like the last time, sitting at a traffic light and the axle falls out. Oh, God, I'm tired of drinking this shit. For it to be a miracle cure, I don't know what's going on, because I've had enough of the Christ. I've drank enough of this shit. I could cure 50 different goddamn UTIs. Yeah, I get to the cash register and Olivia went, still? Just ring them out. Don't remind me. Even the security guard. I'm walking out and he could see through the bag. More? Yeah, more. He kind of liked it when I told him. I said, yeah, if I drink any more of this, I'll be pissing cranberries. Him and the guy that was talking to him, man, they laughed their ass off. My dump truck should be here tomorrow. I looked at the UPS tracking number. It's at the terminal at Middleburg Heights. So tomorrow morning when I check the tracking number, it should say, loaded on truck, out for delivery. Then I'll have to go to Michael's. Oh, I hate going to Ridge Park Square to get glue and paint. Because, you know, in order to build it right, you got to paint each part. Well, not every part, but... And I remember the last one. Oh, man. I detailed the engine out. It looked gorgeous. I can remember painting the fuel rail lines with a paintbrush that had like 3 hairs on it. I was like going blind. And then the kit disappears. They probably thought, whoever took it, probably thought it was like a Tonka toy until they opened the box. And then was like, holy shit, there's 1,000 pieces in here. Yeah, it's called a model kit. I'm going to have to go buy a cheap card table. That way I can spread stuff out. And as I paint stuff, let it dry. Because I need a work area. Oh, wait a minute. I don't need a card table. There's a desk in the garage. I forgot all about that. I'll have to bring that in and put it over in the corner of the bedroom. Because it needs to be in an area it's not going to get disturbed. Grumpy has to get into that mode of building model kits again. Boy, I got an email today from them. They've added over 100 more kits. That company's going bonkers. Yeah, it'd be my luck. Walk in the bedroom, he'd be laying in the box of parts. Cats and boxes. I'll come in the house with a box. And I'll tell you what, he could be sound asleep, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, a box. I'll take whatever out of the box. I'll put the box on the floor, and that fat ass tries to get in it. I'm like, hey, you're too big for that box. Oh, tonight, trivia night. I hope your teammate shows up, and I hope you guys win. Because that's irritating. You know, you sign up for something, and then you don't show. And you know there's people dependent on you. It used to irritate me, you know, when I was bowling and somebody wouldn't show up. Like, why did you sign up for the goddamn league if you're not going to be here? Marianne sent me a picture of the kitty. Boy, does that cat look different, cleaned up. I don't know how she managed to give that cat a bath Oh, he was greasy as can be. Now he looks like a chocolate point Siamese. And she said the woman that's got him said he is the most affectionate thing. She sits down, he's in her lap. Boom. She gets up to go to bed. Boom, he's in the bed. And she said, he never stops purring. I guess he realized, hey, I got a good home. I'm going to appreciate my new owner. Yeah, Marianne was telling me, she said, she goes to watch TV. She isn't even comfy in her chair. He's right there, curled up in her lap. But he looks adorable. Looks like a different cat. And boy, he's got the chocolate on his head and ears. I think she said next week he's going to get his shots and get fixed. Then he'll be pissed off. Hey, first of all, you torture me, you give me a bath, I cuddle up to you, then you cut my nuts off? Oh, you and I are going to fight. I can see him wake up out of anesthetic. Hey, what the hell happened here? Hey, where's my balls? They're right here. You don't need them. All right, I hope you guys win. I keep forgetting that Monday is bowling, and Wednesday is trivia. Evidently, his partner must have showed up. Yeah, it's irritating when people sign up for shit and then they don't commit. That was like one season I signed up for a pool league. I used to be pretty good with a stick. And it would never fail, Somebody wouldn't show. And then, you'd have to forfeit. Because we played doubles. And if your partner didn't show, you'd have to forfeit. After like the third time, I said to the guy, I said, either you get your ass here or withdraw so we can get somebody else. Oh, he's got that shit. Oh, I forgot. How can you forget? Thursday night, 8 p.m., pool. How hard is that? Yeah, when I was either 10 or 12, my father bought a pool table. We had one in the basement because he used to play on a pool league. And he bought the table so that, he could practice. And he wouldn't teach me shit. So I went up to the library and got a book. And it would show you how to make trick shots, and I would set the balls up and practice and practice and practice. And then after I got married, I joined a league. I wasn't great, but I was decent. We won most of the time. I miss it. I really do. I couldn't do it now. I've got a custom, goddamn, I got a custom pool cue in the bedroom. Fancy case. Put it together, Inlaid pearl handle. I used to get ribbed more times. Oh, here comes Fats Domino, or not Minnesota Fats. Here comes Minnesota Fats with his fancy pool cue. Oh, shut up. God, I haven't had that pool cue in my hand probably in 30 years. Maybe longer. But I still got it. I remember one night my son and his buddies were going to play pool. There used to be a big pool room up on Rocky River Drive. Can I borrow your cue? No. Well, you're not using it. That's okay. It's staying right where it is. Oh, gee, look at that name. Daniel Cat's Sore Toe. I have to get a toe chopped off, and here's somebody with a sore toe name. I don't know what name it is. I haven't even looked at that thing in probably 30 years. All I know is it's always in my closet, and the last time I moved, I made sure I moved it, and it's in the closet, gathering dust. It's easy, 30 years, easy. Let's see. Probably 35. I think the last time I used that stick was 35 years ago. Cost me a fortune. can't remember what I paid, but it was expensive. Of course, it's fancy. It's got the ebony and inlaid mother of pearl in the handle, and hardwood case, or hard side case, I should say. Yeah, I'd set it on the table, open the box, take it out. Chalk it up. All the team players would be, Jesus Christ, just take a shot, will you? Okay. God, I remember one night, did I piss them all off? From break, I ran the table. Nobody got a shot. Game over. I win. Only did that once. But I'll tell you what, I can't remember the name of the book that I got from the library. And it said to take string and tape it on the table and study the angles. And then remove the string and try the shot. But it was nice having a table in the basement. Christ, it weighed a ton. I can't remember how thick the slate top was. My father paid good bucks for that table. And then twice a year, he'd call the guys in to make sure it was leveled and the bumpers were all... And then he sold it. I was probably like 18 or 19. He wasn't playing pool anymore, and the pool table was becoming a junk collector in the basement. My mother had more boxes of shit stacked on it. He finally sold it. Kathy, everybody made fun of me because I had the fancy pool cue. I never made myself out to be a Minnesota Fats or anything even close. But it's amazing when you really like that book. That book was a big help. Because it literally taught you, how to use on the pool table there's diamonds in certain places, and that's how you make your angle shots and that. But I never, just because I had a fancy pool cue, But usually the ones at the bar were so crappy they'd be warped or broken or cracked. They wouldn't have any tips on the end, So I went out and I didn't have to buy that fancy of a cue, but I figured, why not? But I never, just because I had that fancy, I never was like, stand back, guys. I just got tired of, because you'd have to get at the goddamn bar like 2 hours early to get a queue that was decent. God, they had some that were so fucking warped. So I just owned a nice, fancy pool cue, that's all. Oh, I've heard stories like that. People are sore losers, especially if there's money, money being thrown down. And they get a few drinks in them, Especially if, one or two guys keep winning the pot constantly. You make sure that you have the bouncers walk you to your car after you leave the bar. Otherwise, you're going to be in the emergency room. If you're going to be a sore loser, don't play a game, whether it be pool or cards or basketball, or if you're going to be a sore fucking loser, then don't play. There were many nights I was kind of aggravated because, I walked in with a pocket full of money and walked out with none. But I didn't wait for somebody in the parking lot and kick their ass. People, you win fair and square. But I didn't drink until after we were done. When the games were over, then I go sit down at the bar, have a couple of brews. I never drank during the game. Yeah. Plain and simple, right. It's the fun of the game. But, alcohol has a way of bringing out tempers. Like they always say, you get them beer muscles. Now, my father, the drunker he got, the better he played, Although he'd show up drunk and get drunker, Christ, I never knew my father drank until he came home sober one night. I was like, who the hell's this guy? The one night I didn't get beat. All right, Coffe, don't drop the cigarette. Good thing you didn't light it. Shit, I did that one night. I lit a cigarette, not paying attention. It fell in my pocket. And, it does kind of that slow burn. And then all of a sudden, like, holy shit, Jesus Christ. I never realized that I thought I put cigarette in the ashtray. It fell out of it went right in my pocket. I can't remember what the hell I was doing. And all of a sudden it was like, Jesus Christ. And then what makes matters worse is I'm beating on my shirt. And of course, the hot ashes from the cigarette are falling down inside my skin. Never did that again. That's almost as bad as not paying attention and you flip the cigarette around and you light the filter. Oh. Man, that taste stays with you a long time. I've done that a couple of times. I did that bumming cigarettes from my buddy because he would open the bottom of the pack. And the reason he did that was if his hands were greasy, the grease would get on the end rather than the filter. And me, I wouldn't be paying attention, and I would pull a cigarette out of the pack, and I would stick it in my mouth backwards and light it. And you don't realize until you take that first drag, and then you're like, oh, God. I bummed a cigarette, now I can't smoke it. That's almost as good as one of the body men that I had when I was at the Pontiac dealer. Joe smoked Marlboro Red Hundreds. But in his other pocket, he would have probably the stalest non-filter Camels. And if you wanted to bum a cigarette from Joe, out came the fucking pack of non-filter Camels. And boy, I'll tell you what, you had to be hard up for a cigarette to bum one of them. You didn't get his Marlboros. He always had a pack of non-filter Camels in his pocket. I'll never forget the first time hey, Joe, let me bum a smoke. I got to run up and get some. He pulls out that. Oh, man. He said, well, it's these or nothing. Oh, give me one. He did that for years. And those were the stalest fucking cigarettes on earth because hardly anybody ever bummed a cigarette off of Joe. Because the work shirts had two pockets. So one pocket would have his Marlboro Red Hundreds. The other pocket would have them stale old fucking non-filter Camels. Like Joe said, people don't bum cigarettes off of me unless they're desperate. I was desperate once. Those cigarettes had to be 10 years old. And you know, he wouldn't even think. He'd be working away. Joe, can I bum a cigarette? The hand would go right to that right front shirt pocket. Or left front shirt pocket, yeah. Out they'd come. Here you go. Help yourself. Oh, I'll pass. And then people would say, you don't smoke them. And then he'd pull the Marlboros out and go, no, I smoke these. You want to smoke, you smoke them. You know, about a month and a half ago, I had a coupon for Lucky Strike, but I got the Lucky Strike filters. But I'll tell you what, I don't. Oh, even with a filter, those are nasty cigarettes. The only reason I bought them was the coupon was $3 off a pack. I had an uncle that used to smoke Chesterfield Kings. You don't even see them anymore. I don't even know if they make them. But that's all he smoked. Chesterfield Kings. I had a buddy that smoked Terrytons. Oh, God, those were floor sweepings converted into cigarettes. How anybody could smoke? Well, that's why you don't see Terrytons anymore. Then one of my good buddies used to smoke Silbathins. You don't see them anymore either. Terryton, Silverthins, Alpine, menthols. Girl I dated smoked Alpine menthols. You don't see them anymore. I can't remember what cigarette company made Alpines. I don't know if they were Liggett and Myers or back in the day when menthol was the craze. I'll tell you what's about the nastiest menthol, and I got a friend that smokes them. Cool. Oh my God, those are lung bleeders, man. I don't know how anybody can smoke Cool. Sorto, I used to smoke Parliaments. I started on Parliaments when I was 14 years old, and when they went to $8 a pack, I quit smoking them. I used to smoke Parliament Light 100s. And I smoked them from age 14. And when they went to $8 a pack, I quit. And now they're like 12. They're like 11.80 or something. I don't know how anybody can pay that price for a pack of cigarettes. Well, you know how I got started on them, Sorto? My uncle was a long haul truck driver. And he used to go down through Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and he would stop in and he would buy a case at the factory because you used to be able to buy them direct. And then he would put the cases, the cartons, on the shelf in his workshop. Well, my cousin and I realized that you could get your hand in the door because he'd locked the door. And we would steal them from my uncle. And at age 14, I started smoking Parliaments and smoked them up until they were $8 a pack, and then I quit. God, I none of the smoke shops around here carry Chesterfields. I would like to buy a pack just to try them. Because, like I say, my uncle smoked them religiously. Nothing else. And if he ran out of cigarettes, he wouldn't bum anything from anybody unless it was a Chesterfield. He was dedicated to them. Fatso's driving me crazy. His belly alarm went off. I think I'll go feed him, get him out of my hair. Come on, tablet. React here. We got to do the outro music. Oh, you know what? A girl I dated used to smoke Nate Sherman. They were called Fiestas. Every cigarette was a different color. I don't know where she ever bought them. The whole pack was multicolored cigarettes. You pull one would be blue, one would be green, one would be red. Fiestas, I think they were called. And with that, I'm going to go feed my fat cat because he's starving. 22 pounds, but he's starving. And with that, we will meet again right here tomorrow night. Home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Everyone take care. Thanks for being here. And we will meet again tomorrow night. And per OBS, the obligatory 2 see yas. See you 1. And see ya number 2. See ya. Bye-bye. Okay, come on, see ya.